everybody has their spot. Everybody is a piece of the puzzle, as you've heard me say. And you play your piece of the puzzle, which is such a good piece, such a great piece. And I get to play my piece of the puzzle. I think if we all just play our piece of the puzzle, then we'll create a beautiful work of art.
Absolutely. And, you know, Tim, I know I'm not going to get into so many details with everybody yet, but I know you're pushing me with really something I want to be doing. And you see the light, you see the potential with the whole 7-2 movement. And it was just very powerful when you were talking about that in our podcast about the 7-2 and the story you shared.
Well, I think that, you know, for you, that you have an amazing story of having a promise, if we can go this way, and then learning principles. You're all about principles because you're into reading books, information. You're very into principles. But then in all of our lives, problems are going to arise. A problem is a dilemma. Okay, so whether that dilemma when you were a young person is your math class or your science class or history class or your English class, no matter what your dilemma or problem was, we have to find our way through or around that problem. So you have the promise, the principles, the problem. And that's where most people get stuck and never get out, is that they've been dealt in their mind a bad problem, a 7-2 art, and they don't know what to do. So that's so beautiful about your message, is that you're helping people to get through the problem stage.
Well, in you know, when we last were on the call, on our phone call, and you really dug into me with this, you know, really master of choices, and I just every day I think about that and how we're going to do this, and I just can't wait to share with the world and how we're going to do this. But Tim, how does it feel inside? Like you've moved and saved so many people's lives, so many families. Like, how does that feel, man? Like you're like a modern day prophet. I mean, Quincy Jones calls you that, the prophet. I mean, how does that feel to you?
Well, I think to me is that it feels like it did when it started. You know, I feel like I got the call at 15 where I knew that I was supposed to be a servant of mankind. And that was just a choice. My skill set was in sports. Like I was good at various sports. So in high school, that was what people saw, or they saw that I had a lot of energy and what they called charisma. But my calling was calling me. And in the way I view a calling, it is submission. And so since I was 15 years of age, that's been my choice. That's been my honor. It's been my privilege. And so I don't overthink about the impact that I have made. I think more about what a privilege to help give people a life lift. That's how I think.
No, that's powerful. I mean, I can only imagine, because you're right. You know, and that's the thing. You know, in speaking with you and others, and that's how I. You know, people have asked me, "Hey, Mark, like, what do you want to do in your life?" And I just want to give. I don't want nothing. I just want to give, and the rest will just, you know, figure itself out. And it's very powerful, and I thank you for giving me permission to do so. And you know, the one thing I want to share is, you know, the book. This sits on my coffee table. In fact, my mother is now reading it. This is the playbook, my friends. This is the playbook for life. If you're missing that playbook, this is it right here, the miracle mentality, and how we move from the mundane, how we move to, like, how it actually progresses from the mundane to the messy, to the madness. And we need to get back to the magic. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and thank you for calling it a playbook, because I truly think it is. I was dialoguing with my friend, Nick Childs, who also teaches at Princeton University, and he helped me as my editor to write this book. And Nick is just amazing, has helped write a few New York Times bestselling books in which this one as well. We were dialoguing about this book. This book took a lot of effort. I think probably about 3 years of research, and then like a year for Nick and I to just pound it out. And while I was working on it, Mark, I felt that truly this is a playbook. It's a guideline on how we can go from this idea of living what I call like a minimized life. I feel like so many people have become a discount version of themselves. That when they were kids, they had these amazing visions of living beyond. And that life brought them life interruptions, and they became a mini-me. It's almost like, from the movie. They became a mini-me, a smaller version of themselves. And I teach you step by step about how to get out of that. But first, I show that I've been a mini-me in my own self by going through like relationship challenges and getting divorced. I had so much shame and guilt. I minimized myself. I became a mini-me in that area. Or feeling like I was not equipped enough because I started playing in the big leagues at a very early age. And I used to minimize myself. But I teach that so much of it is mindset, how you set your mind, and how you can have a miracle mentality, which means extraordinary. That's all I'm teaching. Mark, you're extraordinary. Tim Storey, I choose to be extraordinary. All you that are watching, you should be extraordinary. If you like what we're talking about, give us some emojis. And I see that our friend Ryan is on. Ryan, how you doing over there?
Ryan's amazing.
I like.
And and Ryan's a great example of that. The man is uncommon. He's extraordinary, and he has zero business wanting to be common. And I think that's the issue with most people today is they're living, like you said, they're living in a smaller version of themselves. And the thing for me, there's two things that have really got to me. Number one is that I heard this somewhere, and it's really resonated with me. Is when you're in hell, when the person you're looking at, you're simply in the shadows of yourself. That's the first thing. And the second thing, and we talked about this in our podcast episode, is my moral compass has been completely shifted because of some powerful words that you said, which is God's opinion of you makes man's opinion of you irrelevant. Now repeat that again, folks, if you haven't heard that. God's opinion of you makes man's opinion of you irrelevant. That shook me to my core.
Yeah, and that's an original Tim Storey quote, and as you said. And to me, the thought of it before is that a lot of people try to put their hands on us, even in our development as children, our development in school, sports, for some of you ladies, maybe in ballet or whatever you did. People tried to put their hands on us of how they wanted to sculpt us. I think that some of you that are watching let the wrong people sculpt you. These people were not people that got a God's eye view of who you're supposed to become. And when you become uniquely yourself, it's going to bother some people because they're going to say, no, this is the way I see them. This is how you should do it. Tim Storey, as a spiritual man, you should only do it this way. No, because I'm unique. I'm uniquely called and specific. And I've been born an original. Why die a copy? So I'm not so much moved by what women say or men say that have common minds. Moved by people that have uncommon minds.
Absolutely. And I think the uncommon mind is so powerful when we talk about potential, because once we get into a room of uncommon minds, it pushes on our mindset. And we have we have a choice again. We can either be uncomfortable with it, which forces us to grow, or we have to leave that room.
Yes.
And
Well, Ryan is saying that. Ryan Holtz, great Ryan Holtz. And he always likes to know about, I just got my nails done, Ryan. He always talks about how like Tim Storey is into taking care of himself. And so as Ryan was just saying there in the little chat, is that you got to be careful of who you let in your green room. And that's a Tim Storey saying, is that you have your casual partner, as we talked about before, Mark, and then you have your intimate people. And some of those people, we wouldn't have invited them to be with us. They're just our relatives. But then you have your invited green room where you have the choice of who you let on the inside. And man, you better start paying attention who's in that green room because they have influence over you.
absolutely. And you talk about this in your interview with Oprah Winfrey, and you talked about this with Tom Bailu, which is working your land. And if you're working your land, but you let that pesticide and poison and all that stuff, it doesn't mean nothing to grow.
You're exactly right. And so, like for me, it's a privilege. Like when people say like the GOAT, like, or Ed Milet says Tim Storey is the best speaker in the world, or Steve Harvey said the same, Oprah said the same. That's their choice. I think there's a lot of great speakers that have a different tone, different style. So, some people like Bob Dylan, some people like Stevie Wonder. Makes sense? But I do know in the style that I'm trying to do, I think I'm pretty hard to beat in the style I'm trying to do. So what I realize is that I'm limited in my expression. Watch how powerful this is. I'm limited in my expression, but my expression is still very, very powerful because it can impact the right people. Impact the right people, it becomes a chain reaction.
Sure.
So that's why I watch who I put in my green room, because I've got to guard my expression. You know how powerful?
Oh, extremely powerful. And that's the thing, I was actually speaking today on Clubhouse, and I was telling people is that controlling your environment, it's like there's a Persian proverb that says, if a plant isn't growing in its environment, you don't go change the plant. You take it to the plant and you change its environment. Environment we can all control the environment. I mean, our environment it's like so many dream killers, I call them. Friends, family, any other friends and family, we have to love them, but they have their place, and they were taking away our potential.
Yes.
And it's about being in a room of allies. It's being in a room of people say, well, what's a friend versus an ally? Well, a friend is going to be someone, as an example, if you're working out 5 days a week and you're like, I've worked out hard the last 5 days, on Saturday they're going to say, let's go for a beer. Well, no, I'm working out. No, you worked out 5 days, you deserve it. Versus an ally is going to say, hell no, I'm going to join you at the gym and we're not going to drink beers together. And we have to get in those rooms together.
That's super smart. And I think the reality is there's a lot of people that are attracted to you guys that are watching right now, but they don't realize the price you paid to be you. And that because you possess something. Okay, so like I have a teacup here. So just because I own it doesn't mean I have to give it to you, doesn't mean I have to share it with you. And I think that what goes on today is that there's a lot of people that they think that just because you have it, you owe it to me. But when young people come to me, or even middle-aged people or older people, and they say, can you hook me up with this producer, or can you get me with this director, or can you get me with this named person? I won't even say who they are, but this is a daily thing to us, to the Tim Storey. The answer is most likely no, because I don't know them. they could really hurt my connection to the person they want to be connected to because they may not have the right motives.
Mm-hmm.
And what if I connect somebody I don't know to Mark and I go, Mark, let's help this guy. And you say, what
Mm-hmm.
do you know about him? I know that he keeps bugging me, so do something for him. Man, I've seen a lot of people lose time, money, energy, get entangled because we did not vet somebody. And
Mm-hmm.
there used to be an old rap song, since you like music, and it said, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Love that. Absolutely.
Good to see my friend Kim Perez on there. Hey, Kim.
That's
Kim,
awesome.
what city are you living in nowadays? Kim is an influencer. She's a neat lady. But
Fantastic.
you know what you're doing, that's what you're doing in your brand and your concept. But for you, what's something you're excited about? Like what are you expressing? What are you manifesting right now that you're excited about?
Every day I just, like you tell me, to fill in the gaps with grace. And my manifest is all about, like I said, you've really given me permission to do what I feel like I'm destined to do, which is to inspire and motivate others and tell people my story and tell people that we can get through this together. And by doing that, it's like, I look at our friendship. I mean, tomorrow, one of your friends has now become one of my friends, which is Peter Estevez. He's coming on the podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I have Brad Lee coming on the podcast, and we have Natalie Workman coming on the podcast, and we have some amazing people. And you've just given me that permission, saying it's okay, go for it.
Yes.
It's okay, go for it, and you can do this. And then, when we were talking on the phone the other day, and you were talking about how Jay Shetty would introduce me or Tom Bailu, and it shook me. I'll be honest, I couldn't sleep that night. I could not sleep that night because it was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But I
so
think
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's part of your calling, it's part of your destiny. But the key then, as you know, is to continue to work your land, to plow the
Yes.
ground, to plant the seed, to water the seed, and then you'll reap the harvest. But the cool thing about this life is that you'll harvest in areas where you forgot that you planted seed. Like a lot of crazy stuff happens to me. Like recently, I was with Peter Estevez in Las Vegas because we're working on a project together, a big conference where we're expecting 30,000 people virtually.
Amazing.
30,000. And so we were there looking at the facility, and I was walking through the hotel where I was at, the casino, and people were saying like, hey, Tim Storey, hey, Tim Storey. So it was funny, as I was coming through, several guys were saying, what are you doing by yourself? Like, you should be walking down alone. And I go, my friend over there, I'm going to be all right. So this guy comes up and he goes, he had been knocking a few drinks down. He goes, oh my God. He goes, I saw you at 10X. You changed my life. That's the Grant Cardone conference. You changed my life. And he goes, I got to give you something. I go, no, I'm good. He goes, no, I got to give you something. So he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out a wad of hundreds and he counts them out, Mark. He counts out $100 bills and he hands it to me. I go, no, I'm good. He goes, no, I just told you changed my life. He goes, I got money. He goes, take it. And then he tells his friends who's a little bit high too. He goes, give him some money. I thought that was so funny.
That sounds like was his name Little Rodney from the basket story you shared?
Yeah. I thought
that's amazing.
Because you
That's
never
amazing.
know. You never know where you're going to reap a harvest of people coming up and giving you kind words, or people trying to do favors for me. I go to different countries and people try to do favors for me in different countries that I don't even know how they know me. It just gets crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
but that is the plowing, the planting, the watering, the harvesting. So for everybody watching, don't look to just one little area of your life, like that's where the crop's going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
It may grow back there, over here, over there, and over here, because you've planted more seeds than you realize.
Mm-hmm. So true, Tim. So true. As you were talking about that, I mean, I haven't had someone give me a wad of hundreds, but it's been pretty cool and really flattering. I mean, it's happened on quite a number of occasions. It actually just happened yesterday. I was actually going for my parents are here visiting. I'm a mama's boy, so me and my mother would go for a nice long walk for an hour in the morning. And as we're walking, someone on a bike just drove by and said, "Hey, it's 7-2." My mom says, "Do you know him?" I go, "I have no idea." The guy kept on riding his bike.
No, but that's an awesome thing, because you're a businessman and you and your partner are my buddies and you're doing well in business. But how awesome is that they screamed out to you according to your brand?
Yes.
Like you're the 7-2 guy. What did that make you feel like?
It felt like I'm on the right path. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it means I need to go 100 times into this. I need to go deeper. That's what that
So
told me.
down a road just for a little while, because we have still about 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes still?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so I think that a lot of people, they feel badly about themselves because they feel like they've missed the mark. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was studying earlier about missing this mark of what somebody's aim is. So I looked up the word aim, and it means your direction. It means your focus. It means your objectives. It means your decisions and design. So watch how interesting this is. I think
Mm-hmm.
that some people that were misinformed in their 20s on how life should be, all right, they aimed in the wrong direction and they got the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, how did I end up with this particular type of spouse or person or friends or addictions or whatever we all deal with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you change your aim, AIM, your point, your direction, your focus, your objective, okay, your design, you change your life. So watch how beautiful this is. For all of you that are watching right now, do not put yourself down, because today's decisions are tomorrow's realities.
Mm-hmm.
I can help you change your direction right this second. But you got to realize, you know what? I take ownership. I take responsibility. The way I've been aiming is not working for me, which is like to beat the other guy, or he who dies with the most toys wins, all these other silly things people say. So what a beautiful thing that today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. And that if I change my aim, my point, my direction, my focus, my objective, my design, it changes my life. And that's what happened to me when I was a kid. I changed my aim from being lower income, from us being almost happy, almost had money. I changed my aim that someday I'd have abundance. I'd be blessed to be a blessing. That I would walk into a room and change the tempo and the temperature. I wrote that in my diary back when I was 20 years of age. I said, I will walk into auditoriums and change the tempo and the temperature of the room. That is an aim.
Mm-hmm.
How does this fire you up when I talk about this?
I got chills down my back, like you wouldn't believe, Tim.
Possible?
Oh man, like I think my hair turned more gray. That's how chilled I got. No, that is amazing. And I think aim is such a powerful word. And the thing is about aim though, and I think this is where that level, I think someone had mentioned about accountability, which is very important, is because I can't remember which book it was, if it was the compound effect or the slight edge. And it talks about if a flight is leaving, for example, New York,
Yeah.
and you aim towards you want to go to London, England, and you go in that direction, without that accountability to GPS, you may very well land in Saudi Arabia. You won't land in London. So you need those nudges to get back to where you're aiming in that focus, because
Exactly.
the environment, people around us will throw us off course.
Okay, so can I tell you something?
Please.
When you aim the wrong direction, some people say, nah, that was just me then. Or I talk to a lot of men, because, you know, most people I life coach are men. And they're like, you know, that was just where I was at that time in my life. I was sleeping with a lot of women, and that was just me, and that was cool. Well, you know what you've done is that when you aim in the wrong direction, just catch this. You now create entanglements in your life that sometimes take you a decade to remove. So
Yeah.
your choice becomes your challenge. So powerful. A lot of men coached that are in a bad way, its choices became their challenges because they were aimed in direction, because somebody told them, no, this is what we do at this age, or because we're powerful, we're allowed to get away with this. So what if we change the way we think about our aim, our point, our direction, our focus, our objective, our design? So my aim is not to be the highest in the room. That's Travis Scott's. And I respect your lyric, Travis. And Kanye told me you're a nice guy. But he's got a song called The Highest in the Room. But that's not my aim. My aim is to do the will of God for my life. That's all my aim. And if my aim is to serve you for the next month, or to serve Peter Estevez in his conference, you know, and to get in there in Las Vegas and help 30,000 people from all over the world, come on. Just, God, just aim me the right way.
Absolutely. No, and you know, our relationship isn't a go till I'm 6 feet under. I mean, and for those of you that are coming on right now, you know, I talked about, but what Tim's talking about, really the power of choice. You have a choice between going from the mundane to the messy to the madness. You have a choice. It's all on you. It's all on us. So what I've done, Tim, is I've ordered 10 of your books.
Nice.
And for anybody that's watching, DM me, and I'm going to send. I got 10 copies of this. And what I'm also going to do with this book, to my friend Tim, is I'm going to send you a 7-2 hat. And Tim's getting one of these hats too. And inside the hat it says, "Mindset is everything."
And I will wear it.
Can't wait. So my friends, and then, you know, at about 30 minutes before our call started, I've been waiting for this. It's been sold out everywhere. This came in the mail.
Yes. So that's because Oprah Winfrey did that to me. So that's my book, Come Back and Beyond, that because of Oprah playing my show 5 times in a row because she loves me so much, that book, I mean, it's almost impossible to get because they could not keep up with the printing, because the company that I went with was not HarperCollins or Random House. I'm with HarperCollins now. It was a smaller company, and bless their heart, they could not print books enough. But that is a good book as well. Come Back and Beyond: How to Turn Your Setbacks into Comebacks.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, I mean, this book, you know, this book has to stay on the coffee table because it's a playbook, and you know, man, I can't talk about it enough. This is like, everybody just has to read this. You have to read it, and one has to be proactive. Don't pick up this book if you're already in the madness. It can be prevented. So get this book. If you don't get one of these 10 copies I send out, get this book.
Yes. So Mark, let me just say this. I'm so proud of you and who you are, your family. You know, I know your family. I'm proud of you as a and you are unfolding, you're growing, and you're continuing to help a lot of people. So I see a lot of people that follow me on here. Make sure continue to follow Mark and what he's doing. get involved in his program. And the best is yet to come. And Mark and I will do some projects coming up together at some point soon.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.